Hey guys, what is up? Here, movie review for a young adults novel adaptation, Divergent, with Allegiant coming out. Why are they calling it Allegiant? Because Allegiant is actually split into two parts. That's the last book of the franchise, and they're calling the last one Ascendant. Isn't that going to be misleading for some people? Whatever. Stupid idea that just needs to die. Alright, I'm reviewing the first film, Divergent, directed by Neil Burger, script written by Evan Doherty, Vanessa Taylor. Is how you pronounce it right? Doherty? Combo, I don't really care. And it's based on Veronica Roth's book of the same names. Stars Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Kate Winslet, Ashley Judd, Jai Courtney, Ray Stevenson, Zoe Kravitz, Miles Teller, Tony Goldwyn, Angela Elgort, Maggie Q. And there's also a ton of people I actually don't even really care about. This movie is set in a post-apocalyptic future, and it's Chicago, and it's separated by a wall, sealed off from anywhere else. There's a boundary around it, obviously, and the world is split into factions. Erudite, I believe, Amity, Candor, Dauntless. Hold on, shit. Yeah, I'm lazy, people. I saw this movie like a day ago, I think, and I don't really remember that much. Also, I'm really tired, so that doesn't make it any better. I'm probably gonna repeat them again while I just get some freaking information up because this thing takes fucking forever to work. But, whatever. It's not worth even getting angry over. Abnegation, Amity, Candor, Dauntless, Erudite. And of course, you know, there's also a population that gets cut out of those factions, and they're called factionless. And there's also this rare type of people in this society known as divergents, where they have characteristics of different factions. If you want examples of that, abnegation, selfless, amity, peaceful, candor, honest, dauntless, brave, erudite, intellectual. So yeah, if you possess more than one of those, you're a divergent, which is a rare thing. And this girl named Triss, how this world works is that on a certain day, people get to choose what faction they're part of. They take a test, and it helps them. It's kind of like a guideline to choose, like for choosing choose what faction you're gonna be a part of. You want to be a part of, though. Why? There's a reason about it later that I'll get into, but it just kind of confuses me at this point. Yeah, you can choose regardless of test result, and it just kind of confuses me, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, and of course, you know, Triss is Divergent. Of course, she joins Dauntless, and she needs to convince them that she is Dauntless, and not, of course, get her identity found out. I wasn't exactly excited for this movie. These young adult adaptations are all over the place, and I never saw this in theaters. The reviews didn't sell me. And yeah. I finally watched this movie because, you know, Allegiant's coming out, and I decided, whatever. My sister owns it. Yeah, I watched it, and I thought, whatever. I guess it's fine. I really don't have much to say. I really didn't have much of a real reaction to it. Didn't really leave an impact on me. It didn't really impact me as much as like the first two Hunger Games or anything else. I haven't watched. I gotta start rewatching the Harry Potter films. I really got to. I wish I owned those. I find it amazing that we only own a few of them and not all of them. One day. Yeah, this movie's fine. It just didn't really hit me. It didn't really hit the same way as you know Hunger Games, or Hunger Games, Catching Fire, or anything else. This movie has good stuff though. It has its bad stuff, but we'll get to the good. Let's talk about the good stuff first. Shailene Woodley is definitely. I did also watch Insurgent. I'll talk about that later, at some point. She's definitely the strongest point in the series, which I guess that's a good thing. Okay, I'm joking. Yeah, she definitely is a great part of it. She brings a lot of charisma, and she kind of injects some of the personality, or just injects life into this series. She's fun. She's good for what she is. She's good in the action scenes. She's good in the dramatic scenes. She is a solid character. I wouldn't say she's like one of the best female action heroines in recent years. Definitely, Katniss is way better, but I'm not gonna make comparisons at this point right now. So yeah. She's fine. She's nothing great, but she's fine. The cast, they're kind of hit and miss, I guess. Um, the actress who plays Triss's mom is pretty good, especially in the finale. That was she turned kind of a badass. I liked her. She wasn't that bad. Um, Actually, I can't really talk about most of the actors here. Miles Teller seems to be trying to add some of the personality to it by trying to be a bit of like a douchebag. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, he's not really likable. I really didn't find him likable. I should get to my cons later. There is a cool world here. It's kind of it's an interesting world, but I don't know. Parts of it just leave me confused. It's really hard to talk about this movie because there are some things I find pretty bad about it. The action scenes are pretty good. If you're compared to the first Hunger Games, I guess they're better shot. But I mean, I found the ones in the Hunger Games a lot more engaging story-wise and more in terms of the themes. But whatever, it's kind of somewhat different themes when you compare these two series. When the action hits, it hits. It's pretty entertaining. It's not bad. It's a solidly made film. Has good production values for the most part. Some of the special effects are pretty good, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, it has some interesting themes, but I don't know. It's just kind of just some interesting stuff, and generally good, and it has some good action scenes. But this movie does have a lot of problems, and actually, it's hard for me to get to some positive stuff. Maybe some stuff will come back while I'm talking. I don't know. The biggest complaint I have with this movie is probably just the fact that this world seems a little confusing to me. The only real complaint I have with the world is basically how the faction system kind of works and how like people can choose their factions. If divergents are extremely rare, I find it kind of odd. I kind of find that a little hard to believe, considering the fact that, number one, you can choose regardless of your test result. Okay, I mean, I just didn't understand, like, if you know later in the movie, I don't really talk about much about spoilers here, but later in the movie, Janine kind of, like, the main villain talks about, like, what she wants to do, like, her motive and all that shit. Yeah, it kind of makes the way people choose their factions just all the more confusing. It just makes the world more confusing rather than engaging, if you know what I mean. Also, this movie is pretty unoriginal. We've seen stuff like this before. We've seen story elements done like this before. It's nothing really particularly new, and they don't really make it it doesn't really have its own true identity. It doesn't really stand on its own completely. That's where I just think, meh. Also, a lot of characters are kind of underdeveloped or just kind of one note. Miles Teller kind of serves more as comic relief. He's not comedic relief and also being kind of a douchebag. He's nothing really more than that, and it's kind of sad. A lot of these characters of interest don't really have any real personality to them. Nah. Theo James isn't terrible, but he is not exactly very strong character-wise. Also, the romance between him and Triss, didn't really, don't care about it. I really don't. I'm being serious. I really do not care for it. Sometimes whenever the camera works in the action scene, sometimes they do like a little bit of movement too much, and sometimes it's kind of annoying, but it's more of a nitpick. Also, at times I found the story kind of predictable. It's not exactly the worst thing in the world, but I definitely thought, it could be worse. It's hard for me to think of stuff to say, people. It's hard for me without spoiling it. I mean, it is unoriginal. We've seen some of this before, and they just don't really make it all that new, or to really make it have its own identity. Also, the villain, Kate Winslet is so wasted. Kate Winslet is a great actress, and seeing her do a role like this is just very sad. Number one, she doesn't really have much to do. She really just stands around and says things, sometimes even says threatening things, but she really doesn't get to do much, and that's just disappointing. This villain really has nothing to her. Seriously, I mean, freaking Hannibal Lecter was more memorable. I mean, he had like very little screen time, but he also did something. For God's sake. Even the dialogue, and not only that, but even like if you take that out, the dialogue scenes between him and Clarice Starling is just very memorable, and the character you just get the character a lot. And that's what makes him such a great villain. But however, he did, of course, his breakout was also great. I don't know. She was very disappointing, and it's very sad seeing such a great actress being wasted like this. It really, really does. The movie never always was engaging for me. At times, it was kind of interesting to see where it was going, but also kind of meh. I wasn't always engaged, mostly because I could predict the story at points. It's not really hard for me just to say, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. I know it's kind of, I mean, it's not always a, it's not, I mean, there are times where the predictability is not always a big problem, but sometimes it was kind of a big problem, but not a major problem. It's kind of more of a gripe, other than anything else. Jai Courtney, from what I've seen this guy, he's kind of a bland actor. He's not too bad in this movie, but I never really... But like most characters that aren't Triss, very, very one-dimensional. Just no real personality to them. Even if they try to give him some bit of personality, it doesn't always work. Like Christina, she just doesn't... She's fine, I guess. No one's really particularly bad, but it doesn't always work. Okay, I think I have a few positives more up my sleeve. There are some good emotional... I guess there are some good emotional moments. And there are some fun action scenes, especially in the last third. It was pretty effective. I guess I kind of enjoyed it, but yeah. There's just a lot that didn't always work for me in this movie. The story, I think the narrative was the worst part of the movie, and that could have, to be honest, it's not actually convoluted, but it didn't always hit for me. I mean, I didn't hate the film. It's fine. I just think it's, I guess you could say it's kind of slightly more good than bad. Kind of like, Tomorrowland last year, which was also a big disappointment. Fuck. Yeah, I seriously gotta get over that shit because it's been almost an entire year. Exactly. I don't know, I mean, it's well made. It has interesting themes involving like individuality, non-conformity, but I don't know. The way they just handle overall just doesn't always work for me. The CGI is kind of hit and miss at points. Sometimes it looks fine, other times it looks kind of polished. Looks a little bit too clean, I guess, but that's... They never use CGI. The CGI was really used for more of these overhead shots, like location shots involving, like, decimated city of Chicago. That place is probably gonna go to shit, isn't it? I mean, it's far from bad, but I really just have to say, it wasn't always that memorable to me. It was fine, but I don't have much to say about it. It's not the best thing ever. Its runtime, I can definitely see some people saying that was a little too long. It never really bothered me, but I don't know. It moves along, I guess, at a moderate pace. It never really bored me, but I don't know. I just wasn't always engaged in the story, and I just never always found it very interesting. Also, that one aspect involving the test made the world so confusing to me. That romance is also wooden. You really just... you just don't really get the chemistry between them. It feels kind of forced in there because, hey, that's what a lot of young adult adaptations do, so why not just throw it in there? I haven't read the book, and I know some people say maybe you should have read the book first, maybe you need to read the book first. No, it's not a prerequisite. This is an adaptation, not a faithful, page-by-page recreation of the original source material. There's going to be changes, and to be honest, this thing, you don't need to read it. It should be able to stand on its own, and if not, what's the point of adapting in the first place other than the fact that, oh, this is popular, let's make some money off it? And in some way I think like, oh yeah, they probably want some money off this, but maybe they were trying a little harder. I don't know, I mean... It just doesn't always hit for me. The action's, like I said, the action is fine. Shailene Woodley gives the strongest performance, and it's an interesting idea, but like interesting world ideas and all that shit and themes. But it just doesn't really hit. If you're gonna ask me what I'd rather watch, like if I would watch like Divergent or The Hunger Games, heading over to The Hunger Games, Sorry, even with all that bad shaky cam work, there's a lot. It's a lot more engaging in terms of story and themes. I'm not even joking. It's a lot more engaging. Sorry, I didn't hate this movie. I thought overall it was fine, but I really did not have a. It just didn't hit me the way that some other people reacted to it. Maybe there's something. Maybe it's mainly book readers. I don't know. But I don't. I shouldn't have to read the book. It's called an adaptation, not a recreation. I enjoyed it for the most part. It's not bad. It's a well-made movie. It has good action scenes. Young Willie's the best part of it. Uh, Score ain't too bad, but nothing really memorable for me. I don't really remember scores always that much. That's just me. I don't know. I didn't hate that kind of. I mean, the way involved in that test kind of involving the test and how that works kind of frustrates me. The test is almost like basically pointless, and it kind of makes me a little frustrated. But whatever. It only gets worse. I'm gonna give Divergent a 3 out of 5. I thought it was fine. I think I enjoyed it for the most part. But there's a lot of issues involving some bits of its narrative, it feels unoriginal, and all that other shit. Sorry. And you guys my review for Divergent, comment below what you think about it. Are you excited for Allegiant? Are you not? Favorite young adult series? I haven't seen Harry Potter for a while, so far I'm gonna say it's the Hunger Games, but maybe it'll change to the Harry Potter if I ever rewatch them again. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to help more videos.